Wassail. So here we are after a swim and feeling like all the heat's finally left my body. Although lighting that was a slight kind of like, whoa, keep away from the flame. So here we are for the trial by water, which obviously I haven't been on. It's yet to come. But I did visit Harfleur, which is part of the oldest port before it became Honfleur and then Le Havre. And I brought with me, because I'm having a cup of tea, my cup that says Un été au Havre, a summer in Havre. And I bought, when I was in Honfleur, a bar of soap de Marseille, which is soir d'été, an evening in the summer. So I'm all ready for summer now. Just get that off my moustache, it will dribble all down me. So we are ready. Oh, I'm still a bit wet of beard from the sea. So we're going to be using this triple deck to ask questions about Harfleur, which was it was the medieval first port, further up the estuary, further up the River Seine. And at the time of the Norman conquest of Britain, when William came and conquered and took over from the Saxon kings and made Britain Norman French, it was a very important, the whole of the western parts of France were owned by him and his connections and families, and the other parts of France were part of the Holy Roman Empire. So there were lots of sieges as people battled for land, and during the time of King John, who signed the Magna Carta, you see, now that's interesting. I've had some other information about the Magna Carta, but it's not for this reading. There was a siege, and the siege lasted additionally long because there was an outbreak of dysentery. Now, when I went to Harfleur with Annie, we were very aware of the smell of sewage and dysentery conditions, which we were both picking up on, which is to do with how, when you have these great cities, because it was an amazingly wealthy place. The Gothic church of Saint Martin that they built there is so beautiful, so unbelievably beautiful. But you know, when you create something for wealthy people off the backs of the poor, you're creating a stale energy. But they were meant to. I keep reminding you, things that were in the past were meant to be. But it meant that the beds of the river silted up and it was no longer able to take ships, and it lost its ability to be a wealthy town, and so things moved to Honfleur, and the same thing happened there, and then they moved to Le Havre. Now Le Havre, being the port that was decimated in the war, rebuilt itself, but in order to rebuild it had to have lots of roads to lead all of the stuff being dropped off at the docks out into France and Greater Europe. And so poor little Harfleur is now choking in a series of ring roads that just wrap around the entire place, and yet inside is the most beautiful medieval village. So this is, when I dropped into the energies coming here for this reading, there's a real sense of how we seek closure on things, and Harfleur is showing you what happens when you hang on to old energies for too long. You get left behind and ignored. And actually, we don't need closure on things. We just need to accept that things need to be let go of. And so, if I look at this from a personal point of view, I always seek closure from my ex and his slightly narcissistic habits with me. And yet, I've let go of them because we don't need closure. Now, I'm not going to take that card, but it's the first card out is the same one again. But I'm going to put it back, because that feels like it's talking about the fire energies, not the water. And actually I was talking about the fury and anger that built up in me with my ex, and really I'm never going to get closure on it. So he did exactly what he was meant to do in the pre-incarnation contract. He agreed that we would have this relationship that fell apart, that hurt me and broke my heart, so that I could learn to put it back together. So he did exactly what he was meant to do. And so I need to be grateful to him for what I see as abuses, because I invited them in so that I could learn something. I would say so if you watch him, but he won't be. But if you are, thank you for 7 years of hell and misery and lack of self-worth that you created in me. Wassail. So, let's find out. We need to understand this floodgate of emotions. So, I need to explain. I went to the sea, and that's why I'm looking healed from this morning. I went to a part of the beach and walked very far out of town, all the way around a lovely place called San Andres, which I'm going to address actually in another reading, because it was the home of Monet and the Impressionist painters, or he lived here for a long time, and there are lots of paintings that were inspired by this area, so I need to look into that. But so I walked all the way past, and then the beach runs out, the houses run out, and it becomes these wonderful great Norman cliffs. They feel really imposing, and they're crumbling into the sea, but they've got the most beautiful colours, reds and yellows and oranges, and there's even stones that are pale aquamarine in their formation. Reminded me a little bit of the Needles in the Isle of Wight, where you get all the sand of different colours. But there's big stones, little stones, all over the beach. It's just so many different colours, amazing. So I went all the way along there until we kind of ran out of people. And then I was able to strip off completely to go in the sea, but you had to climb over some very jagged rocks to get there. But it was very wonderful to get in the sea and to let go in my birthday suit, because it's important sometimes to just accept the fact that we don't really, clothing is another manufactured thing to stop us from being in our true frequency. I love clothes, but I also love not wearing clothes. So too much information, but it is a personal reading that's to help guide you. So then I walked back and I went in the sea again, because I felt I needed to be in the sea a bit more with my trunks on. But when I went in the sea the second time, the sea was not happy with me because I was clothed, but it was trying to give me a message that the emotional trial by water is going to be a much bigger energy than I imagine. So, the bell. We can do the bell, because this is about cleansing. That was weird. There was a first soft, gentle bell, and then tsunami. I don't mean there'll be tsunamis. I mean floodgates of emotions pouring forth. And then the third one was almost like misfiring, fragile. Oh no, that's what they're saying. It's like my whole body has felt fragile through the trial by fire. So now I guess they're saying, because I haven't done this trial by water, that I'm going to feel fragile as I go through the trial by water. My emotionally fragile, though, not physically fragile. We've done the physically fragile. We're restoring that with a DNA upgrade, and all the cells taking on a new frequency from the heat being seared into them. Now, we have my least favourite card in this deck, and I say it every time it comes out. I'm always really disappointed to see this card. It's card 41, which is medicine, but it is cosmic medicine, and it is, for the first time ever, talking about Blue Lunar Storm, which is the new 13 moon galactic energy that came in this year. I just don't like this card because the artwork's so bad. I mean, could you not have taken a little bit more time, Louis Dyer, to make this fabulously impressive, meditative, indigenous person look a little more real? So, this is the return of the Thunder Beings. Look, we all kind of, I know that that's the Blue Lunar Storm year is about the return of the Thunder Beings. The question that is being posed and asked is not who do you think you are, not who are you projecting yourself to be right now, who am I projecting myself to be, but who am I really? What is my truth? And maybe that's why when the Disruptive Muse challenged me to do a personal reading, because she thinks that would be a really interesting channel if tarot readers just did some readings about their own personal life and expectations, maybe it would help us to understand how to look at the cards and how to seek what we seek from the cards, because quite often people seek very odd things from the cards, and I often in personal readings have to say to people, look, I've written down all the things you'd like to know, but Spirit just wants to sometimes tell you what it wants to tell you. So I'm having to learn not who do I think I am, but who am I really? And who am I really involves a greater level of honesty, which did start in the last reading. I did admit some things about like not having lived here on Earth previously, which is something I don't like to admit to very often. I need to admit to the fact that I'm living this lifetime is further back in history than any other lifetime I've lived. So all of my past lives are in the future, but they are past lives. This current version of me has lived those past lives, but this is the furthest back in time I've gone to anchor something in the physical world that helps me to understand what I do in my future life. Oh, sounds like a door just closed. Must be another version of me just left the building with Elvis. There's another reading about Elvis. If you know it, you'll know what that reference was. Sorry, I would say I'd have find it and put it in the link, but maybe someone else could copy the link. Maybe, I don't know. So, it's a very funny reading about me in childhood and Elvis and dead people. So, there's a card gone a long way down. It's got trapped. I can't get hold of it. I think it's just about me being in a very strange position for a bit. Oh, it's him. Right, so the medicine. The medicine that I have to take is, and you, obviously, because I know it's a personal reading, but it's about you as well. Actually, the number of times I've been doing readings and cards come out and I feel they're very personal, I go away everyone, this is a reading about me, but I never, and that's how this started with the Disruptive Muse. So, thank you, Disruptive Muse. We have the Four of Earth. Sorry, I'm just staring at him for a moment because he's going to be telling me something different to what he usually tells me. So he's standing in a portal. He's a green elemental spirit. There's a bee as the keystone and he's got his hands on it. Now, his right hand has blood, which to me is life force that we use to sign pre-incarnation contracts. And then his left arm is bleeding from the muscle at the upper part of the arm, and that's running down into his armpit, touching on his gilet, his jerkin that he's wearing, or fancy green waistcoat, and it's dripping onto the windowsill because the windowsill is a portal. So it's saying to me, you can't move through the portal, the emotional portal, until you have completed the pre-incarnation contract, and that is to do with my sense of who I was in the two relationships I had. One for 26 years, one for 7 years. And neither of them really were honest enough in their frequency because I didn't understand my own energies. So, and now there's a church bell chiming outside, ringing the hours like a death death knell. Bong! It's a little bit like this going over and over again, the bowl. But it was a different pitch. So, we have the 5 of Fire. You see, now, this card ordinarily is about raw masculinity, but actually this card is talking about how the old raw masculine energy, for me as a gay man growing up, was this very destructive energy in all relationships that I formed. Even though I thought that I was living a really cool and great and amazing life, this card is talking to me about the destructive frequency that exists within the gay world. Now, I don't usually do gay readings, and there's a thing which I get often in visions to do with the gay world, which is linked to the ancient South America, Mesoamerican, Inca, all of those ancient Aztec cultures that involved human sacrifice through orgiastic moments where they were taking peyote and San Pedro and all these other kind of drugs, ayahuasca, but using them in the wrong way. They had one in particular, they had drugs that would make people sexually aroused, but then when they cut them, which this guy is here, it was they had no ability to coagulate their blood and they would bleed to death. And so this was a distortion of the truth. And this energy frequency, although obviously I'm telling you I've never lived in that time period, I'm picking it up because it's the current energy of a lot of the abuses that go on within the gay scene, where it's to do with being submissive and dominant, and people have that kind of frequency around them and they play out these roles, which is good. I'm not saying you shouldn't play them out, but you shouldn't play them out if you don't actually learn from them. There's no point in repeating patterns. And in this card at the very back, there's a Celtic knot, and instead of it being a repeat pattern, there's the snake's head has finally opened up. It stopped biting its own tail and repeating the pattern, and it's bringing in change. So then we have 13, the divine feminine, Reine de Terre, the queen of the earth, and she is consciousness, my consciousness, connecting into the earth and understanding these energy frequencies, seeing what they were doing and how they were damaging me and damaging others. But it's also part of the medicine. You have to have an epiphany. Blue Lunar Storm is not who do you think you are, but who are you really? And this is who I really am, which is someone who has control over the devil energy. There's a goat at the bottom of the card. The vortex of distortion is now in her power. Her hair is full of flowers, and remember the two cities, the Taylor Sue cities that I'm dealing with here, is two cities and towns that were named after flowers because they were in the Pré Fleuri, in the flowery meadows that surrounded the area. So there's Harfleur and Honfleur. So who am I really? I'm a deeply protective, connected frequency working in the earth realm to bring about change. Okay, so now we need an Odin card. Oh God, this is so revealing. There, we have a card. Oh my goodness. We have Muspelheimir, the fire giants. So, what are you telling me, fire giants, other than a joke in my head? The fire giants is a card that says you're on fire currently. But it means that you're connected with your divine spark. But there's a warning that always comes with this card, which is to be careful not to burn other people. It's to be so connected that you can reach out and actually hurt others. So it's about reminding me to keep my fire engine, because some people said in the fire one earlier that I was making them hot. I hope now that I'm making you all feel cool, because I do feel cool. So, what next do you want me to reveal about myself? I'd rather keep secret, Spirit. Okay. Sacred Wisdom 72 Divinity. So, oh, right. So, since we're part of the Blue Lunar Storm Year, which is from the 13 Galactic Moon Calendar, and I'm born in the Blue Lunar Storm Year, it's my year now that has returned. It's also the year that brings about the end of this energy, the fire and the raw masculine, to be replaced by divine feminine hierophantrics connected to the divine masculine earth grid frequency, so that they're weaving themselves together. So we have light language. Hidden within this light language are codes. There is the tree of life, the Kabbalah, the Jewish tree of life is hidden within there. So there are phases of moon. So, and there's a tiny couple of feathers. Right, so in one of my past lives that's in the future, that I believe is continuous, I seal the store of death. So I've been shown this in visions, and healers who have worked with me have also picked up this information. So on the planet Sirius, there is a kind of a holding station for souls, and souls go there to be healed. And I'm a sound healer there, in obviously light body form, with sacred wisdom, and that's why I connect, why I'm able to connect to sacred frequencies when I do sound healing. So soul tribes come to a great hall of crystals and light energy and liquid motion fluid, and I sing their souls open. I sing the journeys that they've all been on. They witness the journey, and then eventually all of the soul tribe in that group who came down with a purpose together reach a unison melody where they're all in alignment and oneness again, and then new frequencies are sung, giving them the pathways forwards that they then select which ones they wish to try and complete as they journey down to the earth again. I'm being asked to show you this. I put it on the table earlier without knowing why. This is my aqua eye, which is a special tiny piece of green kyanite. Now, all my life I've carried blue kyanite, and I often wear a piece around my neck. But recently I've been told to take all crystals from my body to connect with my own inner truth, rather than allowing crystals. And I'm not going to put this one on me, but this kyanite, blue kyanite, gives you a voice. There's black kyanite and orange kyanite. Black kyanite's really good at psychic surgery. Orange kyanite's really important for self-love and working on the sacral. But this one is vision. This is green kyanite. I think it comes from Tanzania, but I forget now. And if I put this on my forehead, which I'm not going to do now, it feels like the entire crystal goes right inside my brain and doesn't come out again. It's a very good, all kyanite is incredible. Like citrine, kyanite can hold no negative energy. So if you're looking for some kind of crystal to help you download energies when you can't climb in the sea, as I do, get a piece of kyanite. You can hold kyanite and push kyanite. Kyanite can cleanse any other crystal, and then you can allow that, because it can't hold the negative energies. It can pull them out of you, but you don't need to cleanse it. Kyanite never needs cleansing. But this green kyanite is gives me visions. I'm not using it at the moment. I'm allowing my true frequency and the frequency of the sea and the Akashic records to feed me. So there's another little bit of honesty coming out through the sacred wisdom of the owl and spirit. What else do you want me to expose of myself? Oh no, alright, so I did just go up on a beach, take all my clothes off and go in the sea. So, I would say there was no one around, but some people did turn up. I'm sensing the energy of a storm coming in. Okay, so we now have the Nine of Water. This is what happens to me in the sea. Well, it happens to me all over the place. It's usually the wish card, but actually this is a card of being bathed in downloads from Sirius. So we're really looking at this kind of light blue aquamarine energy frequency coming down. And what happens is I download certain bits of information that are the next things that we will need. Sometimes I get given things that I need, and I have had to learn to distinguish between what is knowledge that I'm allowed at the moment and what is knowledge that I need to share. And I know that sounds really bizarre and selfish, but the only way I'm gifted with it is when I understand what knowledge I need to hold back and what knowledge I need to share. Now, I hold back more maybe than I should, which is why, like in this reading now, Spirit's forcing me to let go of some truths which I usually keep much more secret. I'm just hoping they're not going to make me reveal loads of them. So, then we have the 11 of air. Now, 11 of air is my birth number because I'm 0110, the first of the 10th, and that's it has an 11 in the middle of the two digits, the two ones. And this is about how this is again like this card, but this is about the body and spirit being united. So I haven't done this yet, but I know this is coming. But this is my higher self, my body, and my ice dragon that we talked about in the earlier reading, acting as one frequency. So being plugged in to the earth and downloading endless information and it connecting to every cell in the body to regenerate. It's kind of, this is the state that I go into when I'm doing sound healings. So if you go to the live sound healing and go to 1 minute 48, which is when I sing the tune, that's what I'm channeling. That sacred wisdom, these cards are talking about, that's the medicine that I can deliver to others through frequency and through sound. I can unblock things. I don't know why you're making me say all this. So, Then we have the Eight of Fire, and this was the card that ended the last reading. This is, again, this is me. Oh, this is so awkward. This is me in that lovely crystal hall, healing people and teaching them how to sign their new contracts in life force. Oh, this is so awkward. Disruptive news earlier, it was just hot. Now it's icily cold and embarrassing. So, what else shall we just let everyone know? Oh, this is my trial by water now. I get it. This is my trial by water. When I got out the sea, I was like, that felt strong, and I was thinking, what could possibly happen that would really pull on my emotions and make me feel that strength of difficulty? Doing this reading and being this honest with you is really making my skin crawl, but not hot. It's cooling lovely. Right, we're not getting an Odin card apparently. Oh, come on. Or can I just stop? Can I just stop now that I've admitted it? Can I just stop, or are you going to give me a card? No, I think I can stop. I'm going to do one more. Oh! It's on the floor. Going to have to go down to that funny position again. Hello, Wassail people. It's Nadur. So Nadur is shadow work, and it's doing shadow work to release things. Shadow work as medicine, shadow work as healing, and doing shadow work for myself and with others is my greatest joy. Okay, so I like doing shadow work because it releases things, but I love helping others to release things through shadow work. So, we're going to do another row because Spirit is saying that I'm not allowed to stop yet, because it has to be a proper trial of water, which is to really expose all my emotions. So I'm not taking this card, but that's well, I'm going to put it down there, but that is shadow work. The Dark Night of the Soul, and it is numbered 11, and they're laughing at me. And they're also saying they're banging heads together because that's what you have to do. Life brings new meaning. Life does bring new meaning all the time, everywhere I go, anything new. What I'm not good at is repeating energies. When I've seen something, I don't want to keep doing it. I need to be somewhere else, and that's why I had to go on this journey, because I need to be feeling frequencies of place, and I need to be able to understand a place. Oh, that card was really sensual as it stroked my arm. It's my favourite place to be. So in the storm last night, I went down and I sat with the pebbles, and for the first time I felt ready to sing a healing tune to the earth here, to the energy of love. So, between worlds, 5. So, new directions. Look, I like new directions. I like also being between worlds. It's where I spend most of my time. And it's why when I left the UK to come on this journey for a new direction, was to allow me to go into a kind of hermit mode where I can be in my own frequency, but I can reach out to all of you safely when you can't get to me. No, I need to be in my own energy because I'm so empathic. He says, bigging himself up. I'm so empathic when I'm dealing with readings that I pick up on people's energies too quickly, and I have trouble distinguishing what is my energy from what is the energy of them, and I'm feeding into it without knowing that I'm doing that, because I just read people so very rapidly. A perfect example is we sat outside a restaurant, a friend of mine and there was a couple inside the window, and they were holding hands with each other across the table. And she said to me, she said, "Oh, look at that, that's so sweet." I said, "That's not sweet at all." I said, "They're having an argument." Calmly, beautifully, but the tension between their two bodies was extreme. I said, "I need to move because I'm really uncomfortable with it." So I am between worlds a lot, but that's how I do my shamanic shadow work, to discover things that I can then share with all of you. So, I'm not sure that this little reading is going to get any easier for me, but hey ho, let's keep going. Oh, I thought there was just 2 cards. There's about 6. What are we revealing? Okay. Right, between worlds. When we're between worlds, when I'm between worlds, we have the 5 of water. We have a little mermaid, and she's at the bottom of the sea, and she's a little bit forlorn. And she's kind of turned herself blue, when all around her the world's quite colourful. And that's a little bit like the frequency that I go into in download. So I get lost in other worlds and forget this world. I don't watch the news, I don't follow anything. The other day someone talked about an atom bomb feeling going off in the Lebanon, and I thought they were talking about something to do with reading, but actually a huge explosion had taken place. So I'm not connected to the media events that are taking place on the world, because I'm often in another planet, on another planet. So there are, it's like look, the 5 of Cups is usually an energy of 3 cups have fallen over and you don't see 2 cups behind you, but in this card there's an energy frequency coming down, and it's trying to remind me, actually this is like that reading that Rob gave the other day on Rob's tarot. See, I knew you were talking to me and were in my head, Rob. It's about when you do too much work in the other realms and you forget to live in the real world. Look, I'm all dead to the world, and there's 4 fish, there's a starfish saying regenerate your emotions and come back to the real world. Okay, I've heard the message now. Thank you, Rob. So, then we have 12, Le Sénéchal. This is about being in service to the cosmos, and that's why I do what I do. I signed a pre-incarnation contract. Look, there I am, standing in my window with my life force bleeding from me to sign a contract. Sénéchal is the 12 of the warrior of Earth, and I've agreed to come here to hold the keys to interdimensionality and to be loyal. I mean, loyalty, I am loyal to the nth degree, and I have a real problem when people aren't loyal, and that's what made me fall out ultimately with my ex. There's a dog at the bottom. Dogs represent loyalty. Now, my birthday in the secret language of birthdays is the day of the top dog, the wondrous top dog, but the day of the top dog. And I am loyal to everybody that I know, and I will never give up on that loyalty to someone. But if someone doesn't show me any loyalty back, it breaks me. I hear a storm. I really can sense it. I'm sure I can hear a distant storm rumbling in. I need to get my live lightning app. I love that app. So, back to the reading. I am here to be of service to the cosmos and the earth. Okay, so that's that admitted. Then we have connaissance, understanding, knowledge. I have trained, apparently, it would seem, for a very long time to do this. This is the card of knowledge, but this is the card of the alchemist, the guy who turns energy into gold. Oh no! Now they're saying I have to tell you something else I don't want to tell you. So, I have this energy that comes off my frequency that transforms people even though I'm not aware I'm doing it. And I don't know how it happens. It's just something resonates out of my energy that transforms things and people and energies and things and people and energies and things and people. I don't like this reading anymore. Right, let's move on to the next embarrassing area. Actually, I'm going to get an Odin card for that section. Oh, it's the card of harvest. I harvest souls. No. Well, in an odd way, I do in that other dimension, but not in a kind of predator way where you come in and kill them all. This is about Jira is the card of harvest. It's Kaun. This symbol here is the divine spark. And what I do is I shine the divine spark at people so that they can see their own divine spark. Oh, God. I'm sounding like a right crazy now. But still, if you know all this. So, now... Well, I don't want to do this last bit. Luckily, there's a motorbike, raw male aggression, disturbing me from getting to this bit. So, it starts with the middle card, L'amour. Trouvez-moi, find me. So this is the energy that I put out for my mirror soul that you all saw in the videos. And every time any video came around that was to do with the energy of love, orbs appeared dropping from my mouth, my nose, drifting by. It was just cosmically magical. Now, I recognised my mirror soul when I met him. And I fired my arrow into his soul to retrieve a fracture in his soul. And he hasn't been able to acknowledge that. And he will at some point, but I couldn't wait around to heal him. This energy that I have for healing people, this transformation, mirroring, this ability to shine a light on people. I just said to the cosmos that I'm not doing it. Oof, the cosmos just slammed the door and made me jump. I'm not doing it with someone who's my mirror soul. If they're a twin energy of mine from when we were one soul in a higher dimension, he has to solve that himself and then he can come find me. So I decided to go off on this journey with all of you instead. And it ends here with the Three of Cups. I feel like I need to show you those two properly because I don't think I showed you them. It's because I'm getting embarrassed and I want to get to the end of the reading now. Because I'm really being honest with you. So, this Three of Cups is about coming together and having union, but there's something about this card is looking towards the future but looking backwards. That's really interesting because I knew this person millions of years ago, and I didn't know that he was here, but it's very complicated, and so I've moved on. But it's almost like I'm still leaving a massive trail of breadcrumbs so that he can find me, and I'm not really aware that I'm doing it. So Odin cards to end, because I really can't do any more past this. This is my soul has been, I've taken out my whole everything and I've handed it to you all on a plate. So Odin cards, what do you want to say about me and my mirror soul? Okay, so I've got the card of Ran. Ran is a sea goddess. I'm obsessed with the sea. People call me Poseidon. People have called me Oceanus, Neptune, Triton, all kinds of things. Most of the creatures that live on Sirius live in the ocean. Not on Sirius the star, but on the planets around Sirius. So Ran throws out her net to capture men. So somehow I've apparently captured him, but I've walked away, but he's still hooked in the net. Well, that waits to be seen. So that might be part of the journey that comes in, I don't know. But look, I don't know how any of this is really going to help any of you with your own emotional floodgates. But wow, that was a very odd message. That went all over the place, but that really was, unlike the other one, I really did just sort of stick to a deeply personal, revealing message about me, and that feels very odd and very strange, and I hope you hope you like it. Can't hide anything now. Anyway, that's the message. So wassail to you all. I'll be doing the animal signs. I'll start them for the next new moon, and I'll be doing 2 of them a day because I have to catch up and keep going through the personal readings while I'm here in Le Havre. Also, I want to do this reading on Impressionism and Monet and Manet and all of that kind of jazz, because I think there's something about the energies of Impressionism that are relevant to our journey forwards, because it's not seeing things fully, but your eye creating a new image. And as I say, I broke my glasses, so I now am left with the ability to only see what I can see with my short-sightedness. But I can still read things very close up, so that's all right. I'm just going to try and live without the notion of glasses and see what happens. It's not like I've got to drive a car. Oh no, I did want to drive a car. Oh well, anyway, doesn't matter. Wassail everybody.